Dr. Timothy Wrightwood was an award-winning chemist with a bright future, until that fateful night when a mixture of deadly chemicals turned him into Hascom Man. As Hascom Man, Tim would dedicate his life to truth, justice, and the prevention of accidents involving hazardous chemicals. Look up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's just another weirdo in a costume battling a cloud of deadly chemicals.
Can't see a thing. X-ray eyes must not be working.
This could be an explosive industrial video. Real life with your host, Tim Wright.
Isn't it always that way in the movies or comic books, where just the right mixture of chemicals can turn an ordinary person into a superhuman with extraordinary powers? If only it were the same in real life. Unfortunately, in real life, an accident involving chemicals can have catastrophic, disastrous, and cataclysmic results, ending in property damage, serious injury, and even death. In today's modern society, chemicals have become a necessity for many industries. And with more people using chemicals, the potential for accidents has greatly increased. That's why Hascom has become such an important element of chemical safety. In real life, a chemical accident doesn't always have a happy Hollywood ending.
Thanks for saving my life, Hascom Man.
Ah, shucks. It was nothing. It was only hydrochloric acid.
When working with chemicals, Hascom can save your life. But what is Hascom?
Hey, come here. You wanna know what Hascom is? House come. Get it? Hascom? House come? hey, wanna buy a watch?
As most of you know, Hascom is short for hazard communication.
Hascom.
Hascom is the system that provides information about the chemicals you're working with, specific properties, the hazards they pose, how to protect yourself, and what action to take should an emergency occur. But Hascom is absolutely, positively, without question, completely useless without you.
Huh?
It's up to you.
Got it. What's up to me?
It's up to you to utilize the information provided by the material safety data sheets, to take the time to read labels and know what each symbol means, and to follow the proper safety procedures during handling, cleanup, storage, and emergency situations.
Awareness, attitude, action.
The 3 A's to handling chemicals safely: awareness, attitude, and action. It's just like in real life. Real life. Being aware of the dangers around you and having the right attitude about your personal safety leads you to take the necessary actions to protect yourself. With Hascom, it's the same concept.
Awareness. His name is Tim Wright. He's a safety investigator. Sure, he's aware of trouble. And something told him she was trouble when he saw her. She had danger written all over her.
Knowing the dangers you face each day while working with chemicals, that's awareness. But how will you know what these dangers are? By checking the MSDS and by reading labels on all containers. That's how. The MSDS provides information about the chemicals such as how it looks, smells, acts, and what it can do to its surroundings, the environment, and you. Labels also provide information about the chemical using words, pictures, and symbols. Like a short version of the MSDS, labels give you a way to quickly check chemical information, such as name and potential hazards during a routine workday. You may find that labeling is done with signs, placards, process sheets, batch tickets, or operating procedures, but the information is basically the same. Nice, huh? Get in the habit of reading container labels. Never use a chemical that is not labeled. Never remove a label. If a label gets torn or is difficult to read, report it.
Sound the alarm. Take him away. This guy's toxic.
Hey, hey guys, this is just a video. These are just props, really. That's another thing. Know what you're dealing with before you sound the alarm. Where are you taking me? When you familiarize yourself with the MSDS of a certain chemical, you'll be able to deal with a real emergency.
Attitude.
Remember, safety is an attitude. And with a safety-first attitude, you're less likely to take unnecessary risks. Ask yourself this. Has the MSDS changed or been updated? Is your company still using the same chemical supplier, or a new one who could be using different color containers? Because MSDSs and labels are changed whenever new information is available, it's a good idea to check them often. This will keep you alerted to any new hazards and refresh what you already know. In the long run, even the most experienced professionals can get into trouble if they don't have the right attitude. When it comes to your safety, the time taken to follow proper procedures is never time wasted. Action! This brings us to the last of the 3 A's, my personal favorite.
And action.
Hi, I'm Tim Wright, and this is Real Life.
Cut. Great job, Tim.
Action.
OSHA requires that anyone working with chemicals be trained to recognize and deal with chemical hazards. There are 2 types of chemical hazards, physical hazards and health hazards. A physical hazard is a sudden, violent reaction like an explosion or fire. Chemicals that pose a physical hazard are flammable, explosive, or reactive. The MSDS lists physical hazards and how to control them. Look for things such as flash point and ignition temperature. For example, oxidizers that react readily with other substances by giving off oxygen can accelerate burning, even to the point of explosion. When dealing with a chemical that poses a physical hazard, check the MSDS. Health hazards exist when you're overexposed to a chemical that can affect your health either quickly or over a long period of time. Health effects include illness, disease, and in some cases, physical harm. They are classified as acute or chronic. Acute effects occur quickly and can cause harm after a single exposure, including burning, irritation, and immediate damage to internal organs. Chronic health effects develop over a longer period of time, usually after repeated low exposure. They can include liver disease, cancer, and lead poisoning. According to the HAZCOM standard, chemicals considered health hazards fall into any of 7 groups: carcinogen, corrosive, highly toxic, toxic, irritant, sensitizer, or those with target organ effects.
Read the MSDS.
Because you'll see these terms on the MSDS, it's important to know what they mean.
So take the time to learn each one and their definition.
Each MSDS also lists exposure limits. Specific exposure limits have been established for your safety. Permissible exposure limit, or PEL, threshold limit value, or TLV, and short-term exposure limit, or STEL.
Huh?
Again, take the time to learn what each one means, and know your company policy about exposure limits. Another term you should know about is immediately dangerous to life or health, or IDLH, which means that the chemical poses an immediate threat to life. Most facilities will try to keep levels below PEL or TLV with the use of ventilation or a closed system. If signs of chemical exposure appear, summon help, leave the area, and notify your supervisor. Symptoms of overexposure include painful or burning skin, eyes, nose, or throat, dizziness, nausea or vomiting, itching or rashes or hives, coughing, difficulty breathing or tightness in the chest, confusion or drowsiness or fainting, or loss of consciousness. In some cases, you may be required to wear personal protective equipment, or PPE. There are 4 major routes of entry into the body: through the skin, inhalation, ingestion, and injection. The MSDS lists required PPE that can include face, eye, hand, head, and foot protection. Inspect and clean your protective gear before and after each shift. Immediately report any problems you note.
You may be required to wear a respirator to keep from breathing the chemical. Check respirator fit and cartridges every time.
You'll also find handling and storage information on the MSDS. This can include the type of container you need, the temperature or storage conditions, and the proper way to move or transfer the chemical. It will also include the proper procedures for emergencies, such as a fire, spill, or leak, or if you've been overexposed. In cases of overexposure, the MSDS will also explain how to stop the exposure and what medical treatment will be necessary. Good personal hygiene is another way you can prevent chemical exposure. Remember that chemicals on your clothes, hands, or hair can enter your body through your skin, nose, eyes, or mouth.
Wish I had a night light.
Wash your hands and face frequently, especially before eating, drinking, smoking, or putting on makeup. No thanks. A little up here. Follow all decontamination procedures as required. You don't want to carry chemicals home on your clothes or shoes. You've just seen some of the ways to protect yourself while working with chemicals. Now let's put what you've learned to the test. In this next segment, we're going to put some of our workers through different scenarios in which they could be risking serious injury or worse. Let's see how you anticipate and solve any problems that may come up. Meet Bob. He's new. Jack is explaining to him how things work. The red drums are a chromic nitric acid mixture. The black drums to the left are an acetic acid. They're expecting a shipment of the acetic acid. When it arrives, it's to go straight to another department. Bob has the right idea taking notes. Meanwhile, Jack has to make some phone calls. Let's see how Bob handles things on his own.
How you doing? These drums just came off the loading dock. Where do you want them?
Okay, take these drums to the plastic sign department. They're expecting them.
All right.
How do you think Bob did? He did refer to his notes, but was that enough? No, that was not enough. This is what Bob should have done.
According to the label, this drum has a chromic and nitric acid mixture. Why is it in a black drum? All those other ones are in a red drum.
I see here they've switched suppliers. This company must use black ones. It happens sometimes.
Okay, well, you can put it over there.
Okay.
So now we have Bob back on the right track. Meanwhile, Jack is getting an earful about the delayed load of acetic acid.
Where are you going with these drums?
Well, that guy back there told me to put them over here.
No, don't listen to him. He's new. Get them over to the plastic sign department right away, okay?
Whatever you say.
Wow, one mistake after another. Jack may be the senior worker, but he has to follow the same procedures as everyone else. Had Jack checked the MSDS or read the label the way Bob did, he would have realized his mistake. Even when you're in a hurry or being pressured by others, never take shortcuts. Now let's introduce you to Ken and Kathleen. They're in another department, the one that received the delivery of acetic acid. And look, there's a spill. Is Ken doing the right thing by cleaning up the spill? No, you never want to attempt a cleanup until you've checked the MSDS to determine the best method possible. So what should they do now? Should they evacuate the building and notify the emergency response team? Of course not. There is no immediate life-threatening hazard. By overreacting, they may cause more harm than good. The best thing to do is to check the MSDS to determine what actions to take. So how'd you do? Remember, you'll always be safe if you use the 3 A's.
Awareness, attitude, action!
Awareness, staying alert to the hazards around you. Attitude, keeping that safety-first attitude. And action. When it comes to protecting yourself, take action. Because in here, you get second chances. But out here, you only get one. Even if you are
Hascom Man. Ouch! Oh, that's gonna hurt.
I'm Tim Wright. Keep it real.